The 849th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com with promo code MMA SGPN.
Heidi Ho DeGenerinos, welcome to the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Episode 849 is dedicated to Cindy. Yes, a female name, we think, who's one of our friends from YouTube, who's always bigging us up and telling us how great we are, which is true. But thank you, Cindy, whether man, woman, beast, whatever you are. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you all the rest of you for listening and/or watching us on your big screen TVs, you maniacs. This is, as I said, episode 849. And as you can tell by the title, it's a PFL episode. I am Kaiser Del Busto still, aka Jeff Fox. And this is PFL World Tournament 6 to 2025 semifinals part 2, I guess you could say, or the main card. PFLs, you know, they're going to PFL and their cards are organized differently. But actually, this looks like this is actually all the cards listed currently as a main card fight. So but mostly the semifinal. Actually, this episode probably will be all semifinal fights. I think there's one feature fight.
It's also right. Oh no, you're right. There is that one feature fight. Yeah. It's right. Because they canceled PFL Europe. Had to change locate, right? Because it was supposed to be in Paris or something like that. Yeah. They canceled it, moved it a month later, made it PFL Europe from is it Brussels, Belgium? I think it's Brussels it's in now, which I think we actually joked about why don't they go to Brussels at one point in time. So they're going to Brussels. And then so then they moved this one to this card, which it's a fun fight. So I don't mind it being on here. It's kind of weird that it's all semifinal fights near the top and then that one, but hey, that's where PFL is going to PFL.
Exactly. We're going to break her all down. That voice you just heard, it wasn't me, and a different personality. That was Daniel Gumby Vreeland. He is the king of picking, a god, you could say, of picking regional MMA bouts. He actually squeaked by me on UFC too. We'll talk more about that tomorrow, but he squeaked by this past week again.
Shout out to Rose Namajunas.
Yeah, Rose came through. It was wasn't a particularly great night of viewing and/or
it was betting. It was historically bad.
Yeah, it was UFC is going to UFC more often than not. But anyhow, PFL for the most part, PFL's pretty good. Like the actual fights are pretty good, right?
Once they happen.
Yes,
the problem is we'll do a show we'll do a show like this, and if you're watching it on Thursday, this might not even be the card anymore. So make sure you check the show notes. The thing is that's the biggest issue for me is a lot of these alternate fights that we're seeing, and with some of them we broke down on yesterday's show, is like some of these alternate fights feature guys who were in the tournament and didn't lose, and now they're in alt fights, which is they had Magomed Umalatov, last event in bout, and he was the favorite to win it, never lost, and now he's in alt bots. So I don't know. It seems like they have a tough time keeping their cards together. Maybe that's not their fault. But that's what it is.
Anyhow, it is important to have a very strong second promotion in MMA. So hopefully they can.
They're third, I think. Did you have you seen that article going out where the
Octagon?
Octagon guys are like, we're number 2. And hey, look, I'm gonna give Octagon number 2. Did you see the size of the stadium they sold out this weekend?
I think we were talking about it before, how many people it held, but
I don't know the number of how many it sits, but it said every single one of them that it did, and it had to have been in the 16,000 kind of range. It was insane. And the place was packed from the first fight on. They got fireworks at a concert at halftime, which they have halftime. Fun fights. Half their fight cards fell apart and the people were still raucous in there. So Octagon's number 2 in my opinion. It's not close.
There you go. And Gumby's good at making picks for that too. So make sure you check out all of our
4-1 on that one.
There you go. So make sure you check out all our Octagon episodes. They're pretty much a monthly show at this point, right? For the most part.
I think they got another one coming up next week. So I think they sometimes jump up to twice a month. I think they're 16 shows a year. Kinda,
okay.
So 1.5 to 2. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, we love ourselves some Octagon. KSW is good as well. So there's lots of good alternatives if PFL is not your jam. If you don't like massive weights between fights, anytime I turn it on, they're always in between fights, no matter what. So, all right, we're going to give you some winning plays for Octagon after I let you know college football team previews are back on the College Experience. Colby Dant and Moneyline Mac preview every FBS college football team, and you don't want to miss it. So check out the College Experience. All right. We covered the prelims yesterday and a couple bonus lightning round picks for you. Now we're going to cover the main card today for the PFL World Tournament 6 2025 semifinals going down Wichita, Kansas on June the 20th. That would be Friday, 5:30 start time for the prelims. So who knows when this starts? Probably 9, I guess. Probably.
Yeah, midnight.
9, midnight, whatever, depending on what time zone you're in. Let's kick things off with a 135 tournament semifinal belt. So bantamweight semifinal belt. Justin Wetzell of Pretzel fame from the United States versus Mando Gutierrez. He is from Mexico. 3 5-minute rounds. We'll break her down after I actually get to the right tab here on my sheet. Here we go. Gutierrez is the one we're talking about first. El Toro is 11-3, 2 knockouts, 7 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. 1-0 on PFL. He's won 3 straight and 4 out of 6. He won his last bout via submission. 0-1 in the Ultimate Fighter. 0-1 on Contender Series. I'll ask you the Contender Series question. I won't ask you.
Contender Series. He
tough,
lost to.
That might be a tough one.
Raul Rosas Jr.?
Let's see. He lost to, because I don't remember off the top of my head.
I think it's Raul Rosas
Cody
Jr.
Gibson on tough.
Yeah,
yes,
Raul Rosas Jr.
Raul Rosas Jr. Correct. So he lost to a little kid, is what you're saying.
It was a good fight too. It's maybe the toughest fight he had in like his first 3 or 4 UFC fights.
Gutierrez is regional champ. Used to fight at 145, 1-0 in pro grappling. 5 years younger than Wetzell, plus 161. Wetzell, the Pretzel guy, is his nickname. I've decided. 11-2, 4 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been knocked out once. He's durable. 1-0 in PFL, 4 straight wins for him. He's not lost since November 2022. Missed weight at 135 before. Used to fight at 145 or 155. 3 inches taller than Gutierrez. An inch of reach on him. Minus 201.
Yeah, 201. Love it.
161 and 201.
Yeah. I hate to do this because Mando Gutierrez, he cashed for us as a big underdog in the quarterfinals. I think we had him 285, if I'm remembering correctly. And I'm going to go against him here. I love Mando Gutierrez. I've been playing him as an underdog for a long time. I think he's got a lot of chops. He surprises people. He's the perfect kind of regional underdog, in fact. Like, he has wicked underrated wrestling, and like he scrambles really well. So like he starts the exchanges and like can either finish them or wind up on top anyway, and like steals rounds that way. And in his last fight, like sneakily took somebody's back and put him to sleep. So like Gutierrez is like a really tough out for a lot of people. And, you know, like I said, for that reason, he's a great regional underdog. And he's just kind of like meeting his kryptonite here in the worst possible way. Like Justin Wetzell is just like so much better of a wrestler than him. And he's like, he's not the type of person who takes chances and is going to allow Gutierrez to scramble. Like he just does the technically proficient and smart thing in every wrestling exchange. So that when somebody like Gutierrez, who like, you know, Gutierrez had success against Raul Rosas Jr. largely because Rosas is like very flashy on the mat, right? Like he's going to take every chance in the world he can to submit you. He wants your guillotine. He's going to jump to your back when he doesn't really have position. He's going to do all that stuff. And Gutierrez found some top positions through those exchanges for that reason. Now Wetzell is just not going to do that. He's more like a American style wrestler who is going to do the real fundamentals, ground you, get you into like half guard, drop some ground and pound, look for the arm triangle, that kind of thing. So now he also takes backs really well, but it's like not in a risky way where you worry about him falling off the top and doing dumb things like that. It's in a way where he's like knows he has the position, is doing so fundamentally, not necessarily overly fast, just to make sure that he's got what he needs. And like on the feet, I mean, like, I think it's kind of a stalemate on the feet. Like, I think both of them are good enough in terms of their striking. I just don't think Wetzell will let this be a striking match. Like, I think this is one where he knows he's got a large advantage in terms of the grappling. He's got a large advantage in the terms of the wrestling. There's no reason to go 50-50 striking with Mando Gutierrez when there's $500,000 on the line. So give me Justin Wetzell.
Is he going to twist him up like a pretzel on the mat, Gumby?
I don't know if he's going to twist him up like a pretzel. You really like the Wetzell's pretzels analogy there. I think doesn't he actually have the nickname like Terminator or something like that?
Nothing's listed on Tapology, but that's a lame nickname.
Is his Tapology picture like him with like the Terminator eye though?
Yeah, with like a cyborg eye thing.
Yeah, I think he sometimes, or at least maybe used to on the regional scene, because he was an LFA guy, right? And so like I think back then he used to use the Terminator, even if he doesn't anymore.
Okay. Lamer than the pretzel guy. That's a much better nickname. All right, here is another tournament belt for y'all. This is actually the same division, other half. So men's bantamweight semifinals. Marcirley, Alves, Brazil, Jake Hadley from England, jolly old England, 3 5-minute rounds. Let's break her down, shall we? We'll tell you about Alves first. Duran is the nickname. He's 13-4 with 9 knockouts. He's been submitted twice, 1-0 in PFL. He's 4-1 over his last 5. He won his last bout. 1-1 in Bellator, a regional champion. He's fed at 125, 3 years younger than Hadley, plus 110. White Kong, he's 12-4, 3 knockouts, 6 submissions. He's never been finished in a fight. 1-0 in PFL, win over his last 3, 2-3 over his last 5. He won his last bout via submission. He missed weight at 135 and 125. 3-4 in the UFC, 1-0 contender series, 1-0 in Bellator RIP, Cage Warriors champion. He's fed at 125, as I mentioned above. He missed weight there. Regional champ, 3 inches of height, 2 inches reach over Alves, minus 140.
I know you didn't ask me, but I remember who he beat on Contender Series too.
I never asked who they beat, but go ahead.
Yeah, he beat Mitch Raposo, who wound up in the UFC anyway. And so that's just the thing I remember. I'm going to take Alves here, slight underdog. I blown away with how he's looked in his last couple of fights. He beat Leandro Higo in his last fight. And just shut down every bit of wrestling that he go through his way. Went back and looked at some of his old fights, and his takedown defense is, I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm going to go ahead and use the word. I think it's elite. Like in terms of being a striker the way he is, in the way that he forces people to throw with him, it is really, really, really impressive. Like hits to the ground, does the right thing on the underhooks, but also just like, anytime somebody shoots, he's away. He's like a matador in there. So I think Alves' takedown defense is great. Now, does that particularly matter against Hadley? A little bit. Hadley's been a good wrestler in the past. In fact, that Contender Series fight I was just telling you about, he won by rear naked choke, if I'm not mistaken. He took Mitch Raposo's back and beat him that way. So, maybe Hadley has used that as an out. But also, I like Alves here for a couple of reasons. First of all, I think he can duplicate what Cameron Smotherman did to Hadley when he knocked him out of the UFC, right? Is he just like, he was longer, he fought longer, he had big jabs that knocked Hadley's head back, and he made him fight off of his heels. And like Alves comes forward, he doesn't throw as many jabs as Smotherman does. He throws a lot more like big hooks. In fact, he tagged Ego with one in that fight too, dropped him. He throws big hooks. He hits really freaking hard. And also I've been saying this about Jake Hadley. I know the idea of him going up to bantamweight. I know what it was. Like, it was him trying to save his UFC career, get a couple extra fights in, because it seemed like he had kind of run his course at flyweight and was trying to find some new love at bantamweight. And then when that didn't work out, he left and wound up in a promotion that didn't have flyweight. So he continues to kind of be like an undersized bantamweight. So like, he won't be the more physical fighter here. He won't be able to work his takedown. So like, if it's just his boxing up against the boxing of Alves, I got Alves 10 times out of 10 in that one. I don't think Hadley has the boxing to beat him alone, and without scaring him with the other aspects of his game, I think you're going to see Alves cruise here. So yeah, give me Marcirley Alves.
All right. You got him. All right. Before we dive into more winning plays for you, a reminder, Circa's Ultimate Fantasy Football giveaway is going on currently. Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas is giving away the ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Vegas to be treated like VIPs for their stay. You get a limo ride from the airport, a $5,000 tab for a stadium swim, and a hotel stay for you and your 11 league mates. You can always get 15% off all the Circa properties with promo code SGP15. Enter the Ultimate Fantasy Football contest for free at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA. And we're brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the NBA Finals and Stanley Cup. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. They got easy deposit and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Check out all the PFL lines there as well. And when you do head to mybookie.ag, use our promo code MMASGPN. That way you get 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code MMA SGPN. All right, we got a favorite. We got a dog out of the gate. So where we go to next? We're going, actually, this is the aforementioned feature belt, so non-tournament belt. Mansour Barnaoui from France, Archie Colgan from the United States, even though that seems like a British name to me. They're fighting at 155 just for the heck of it.
It's from Wyoming, I think.
Yeah, very not
decidedly not British.
Yeah. Tarzan Barnaoui is 22-6, 6 knockouts, 15 submissions. So he's almost finished everyone. He himself has never been finished. 1-0 on PFL. He's won 2 straight. Before that, he lost 2 straight, and he's gone 10-2 over his last 12. His past 2 wins have both come via submission. He went 2-2 in Bellator RIP. Multiple regional championships on his.
Mando.
Correct. Get the shirt, get our gear, get our merch, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Used to fight at 145, 2011 pro MMA debut, 3 inches taller than Colgan, 8 inches reach on him, plus 240. King Colgan, 11-0, 5 knockouts, 1 submission. This is his debut in PFL, 8-0 Bellator, rip. Used to fight at 170, 3 years younger than Barnaoui, minus 300.
I'm going Colgan. First of all, excellent wrestler. This is a guy who was 1 match away from being an All-American in D1. He wrestled at Wyoming on the same squad as, you remember Bryce, well, not remember, Bryce Meredith, who's been in PFL, Bellator. I don't know who he belongs to anymore. But Meredith is a guy we've been high on. Both of them wrestled same graduating class. Both were nasty for Wyoming. Colgan wound up at Nationals. He actually got an at-large bid, if I'm not mistaken, to get into Nationals, and was only 1 bout away from becoming an All-American. And so he is a very high-level wrestler. Now, he hasn't necessarily, in my opinion, figured out how to blend the styles yet. He's not, his striking doesn't work into his wrestling. His wrestling works separately than his striking. But I don't think it matters in this one because Barnaoui is a guy who is never beat somebody who can wrestle him. Not once in his life has he stepped into the cage with somebody who can match his wrestling ability and then beat that guy. I'm going to just read you the 6 losses and tell me if you think a wrestler can beat this guy. Okay. His 6 losses are Islam Makhachev, Kevin Lee.
Already.
Kevin Lee, Ivan Buchinger, Matthews Gamrot, Brett Primus, JJ Wilson. And it's can wrestlers beat him? There may or may not be a blueprint for beating Mansour in terms of being a wrestler, right? All 6 of his losses have come to guys who can grapple with the best of them, right? So if he's got all of those losses to really high level wrestlers, and now you got a really high level wrestler who is perhaps not quite figured out how to put it all together, but this is the perfect step up for Colgan. He's going to be in there with a guy probably better than anybody he's been in there with before, but also who has this one glaring weakness that you don't want to mess with. So I'm going to give Archie Colgan my full support in this one. Give me -300, maybe a parlay piece.
Oh, really? You must be very confident in.
Barnaoui just keeps losing to wrestlers, right? And yes, he's not Islam Makhachev, he's not Brett Primus, but he might be JJ Wilson, or he's not Gamrot, but he's probably got some of the wrestling chops that Gamrot's got. Maybe not the jiu-jitsu, but the wrestling.
Yeah. All right, co-main event is for the other half of the women's 125 tournament semifinals. Liz Carmouche, United States. Elora Dana from Brazil. 3 5-minute rounds. We'll break her down by telling you about Dana first. Onca Negra, Black Jaguar. 8-0, 1 knockout, 5 submissions. 1-0 in PFL. She won 5 straight fights via finish. She's regional champ or was regional champ. Used to fight at 115, 14 years younger than Carmouche, because pretty much anyone Carmouche fights at this point is that much younger than her. Plus 350. Gorilla is Carmouche. 23-8, 10 knockouts, 6 submissions. She's been submitted twice. 3-1 in PFL. 10-1 over her last 11. TKO win in her last bout. Has missed weight before at 125. She went 7-0 in Bellator and was a champ there, RIP. 5-5 in the UFC. 2-0 in Invicta. 2-2 in Strikeforce. Strikeforce never die. Used to fight at 135 and 145. 2010 pro MMA debut. 3 inches taller than Dana. Minus 450.
Yeah, Liz Carmouche. I said it at the beginning of this tournament. If she doesn't win this tournament, there's probably something wrong. The only person who I really was picking against her was Talia Santos, and she will not be fighting in this tournament.
Why not, Dan?
She's got some stuff going on. She's probably not going to make it. And yeah, Dana is just, I think it's Dana. It's not Dana, but I could be wrong.
I know. No, I think you're right.
Dana, I don't think is going to give her any trouble here. Like, what does it take to beat Liz Carmouche, even in 2025 when she's, how old did you say she is?
She's 14 years older than Dana. I think she's in her 40s or maybe.
She's got to be pushing it, right? I feel like
I've
been watching her since I was a child.
41.
Yeah.
1984.
So Carmouche, she's one of those fighters who, maybe is not the best version of herself, but what she's still damn good at is wrestling and grinding it out. And Dana is not a good boxer. So it's not like she's just going to sprawl and then force her to box. In fact, she looks pretty clueless on the feet. It looks like Dana just mostly wants to do jiu-jitsu in just about every fight she's had. And Carmouche is going to determine if she gets that. And even if she does get it, right? Even if Carmouche is yeah, fine, let's go mix it up on the ground. Carmouche is going to be on top. And she has historically been very good at submission defense, right? I mean, she got submitted by Ronda Rousey in that fight, but she had her moments, right? And granted, that was a whole lifetime ago at this point in time, but it stands the test of time that that's what Carmouche is good at. That Carmouche is good at going into grappling round with grapplers and just being this is the most suffocating kind of wrestling you can possibly endure and beating them up there. And then she's got her own sub skills too. So it's it's not like she's just stalling there. She is herself a threat too. So I don't think Dana poses a threat to her on the feet. I don't think Dana poses a threat to her on the mat. I think Carmouche rolls, which is why you see a negative 450 line. But maybe just roll her in with Colgan and get yourself, a much better line on those two.
Throw in a parlay is what Gumby's saying. Okay, before we get to our main event, and we got one lightning round pick, so we can complete the whole card. Let me tell you, it's a very important time right now. It's time for Gumby's bonus underdog pick and play. Underdog is going long for the NBA Finals with their extender bonus, hopping game one, and the longer the series goes, the bigger the bonus gets. All right, Gumby, what do you got for us?
So I'm going to go with the strikeout to Spencer Schwellenbach against the Mets on Tuesday. Schwellenbach been striking out a ton of dudes lately. He's got 24 strikeouts in his last 3 starts, which is 22.1 innings. So that's a pretty good-looking projection there. So I'm going to take the higher than on Spencer Schwellenbach's strikeouts.
All right. Take that advice and take the code I'm about to give you, MMA SGPN. Take all that over at underdogfantasy.com. That way you get to claim a special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. Underdogfantasy.com, promo code MMA SGPN. And you've heard us talk about Rhythm before, and they just dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. Think a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. Power Trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just clean data-backed bets. Download the Rhythm app, check out Power Trends, and start betting smarter. We will be. That's where Gumby gets. Did you get Schwellenbach from there as well, Gumby?
Yeah, always. If you hear me talking about those underdog plays just before this ad every time, it's largely because I've scanned through the Power Trends on Rhythm and found a couple of high value ones, and you could find tons of high value ones too.
Look at you, fantastic! Gumby just did that off the top of his head too. You can do all this for free. For 7 days at least, if you go to sportsgamblingpockets.com/rhythm, RITHMM, 7-day free trial via that. All right, main event, and it's a squash match, at least on paper. It is the other half of the men's lightweight semifinals. Kevin Lee, United States, Gadzhi Rabadanov from Russia. 3 5-minute rounds. Tell you about Lee first. He's 20-8, 3 knockouts, 9 submissions. Oh, isn't he like the Motown phenom or something like that too? I think
he was the Motown phenom.
Yeah, he's not a phenom anymore though, so that's the thing. Maybe that's why. I don't even think
he lives Motown. Can he just be like the Motown guy?
Yeah, the Motown guy. I don't even think he lives in Detroit anymore either. Motown guy is pretty good though. Pretzel man and the Motown guy. 20-8, 3 knockouts, 9 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted 4 times. This is short notice. You remember when this was announced?
It's been a while because I remember thinking to myself, why didn't they just take one of the alternates and put him in? Because they signed Kevin Lee to be in the tournament. But then I realized all of their lightweight alt bouts had fallen apart.
Oh, okay.
So they actually didn't have a lightweight alternate ready to go. And I'm like, they could have taken one of the other guys. And then I looked at some of the guys they had and I was like, Oh, they didn't. They did a good thing. Like Kevin Lee belongs in this fight.
Yeah, lucky Kevin Lee. All right, so he is stepping here a little less than a full camp though. Win over his last 3, 2-3 over his last 5, 3-5 over his last 8. He did win his last bout though via submission, so that's something. He went 11-8 in the UFC. He missed weight at 155 twice, so keep an eye on that. Used to fight at 170. Regional champion, 2012 pro MMA debut, 0-1 as a pro grappler, an inch of height over Rabadanov, 6 inches of reach, plus 1,017 is what the number is moved up to now.
That's up since the last time.
It is.
It was only like 1,000.
Yeah,
it was only 1,000 when I looked.
It was 900, I think, when it opened. Yeah, that's wild. 1,000, funny number too. All right, Rabadanov is 25-4-2, 9 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's been knocked out twice, submitted once. 6-0 in PFL, and the 2024 champion. 11-0 over his last 11, obviously. 3 straight wins have come via TKO. He's not lost since December 2020. 5-0 in Bellator, rip. Used to fight at 145 and 170. 2013 pro MMA debut, minus 2,000. So even bigger than Michael Wellmaker's line. And that was a big. No?
Wellmaker was 2,500 at fight time.
Okay, fight time. Yeah, right.
Yeah, maybe it was only 1,600 when we.
It was when we talked about it. Yeah.
I'm going to take Kevin Lee.
Oh my God.
Listen, hear me out here. Hear me out. Did the end of Kevin Lee's UFC stick go badly? Absolutely. He was talking about retiring, didn't seem to be in it. They paired him with Renat Fakhretdinov at welterweight, he was stunned on the feet, shot a takedown, and got guillotined in like 55 seconds, and then was like, "Oh, I am actually retiring now." Since then, he has seemingly been training his ass off and has been begging for every possible avenue to get back to the top. It seems like he is recommitted to fighting at a high level. And I know you can pay lip service to that on social media or whatever, but I kind of believe him. It kind of seems like he's all in again. And on top of that, this matchup is not the worst matchup for him. Because the thing about Kevin Lee, and I just talked about it with the Mansour Barnaoui fight, is he is an exceptionally good wrestler. Right? That's the thing he's always been good at, is he's been a really, really, really great wrestler. In fact, the last person to take him down, you know who the last person to take him down at 155 pounds is?
No idea.
Efrain Escudero. You remember Efrain?
Of course.
So it's been almost a decade since he's been taken down in this weight class. Because when he is at 155 pounds and he is in shape, he's stocky at that weight class. He's strong as hell. He's really hard to get down. And then when you watch Rabadanov fight, okay, yes, Rabadanov is a good wrestler, but let's say this stalls out and this stays on the feet. Rabadanov pretty much just doesn't engage when he's moving backwards. If Kevin Lee just comes forward and forces Rabadanov to try to fight off of his heels, he's gonna outstrike him in a round 13-6 or something like that. And am I rooting for the least fun fight to ever watch? Absolutely. But I'm telling you here that if you have pizza money that you got to throw down, Kevin Lee is a lot better than a 10-1 shot. A lot better. If this line was plus 250, plus 300, I'd probably hem and haw and, maybe gun to my head, take Rabadanov. At 10-1, minus 2,000 on Rabadanov, you can't play Rabadanov there. And there's plenty of value on that Kevin Lee line. So give me Kevin Lee. And here's my added bonus for you here on this play. Wait until fight time. I bet you he's even higher. I bet you he's 15-1 by fight time. You can throw your pizza money on it and have a fun sweat. Your pizza money could turn into $300. So give me some Kevin Lee.
All right. Give him some Kevin Lee. Let's recap, and then we got one bonus play for you. He's got Lee. He has got Carmouche. He has got Colgan. He's got Alves. He has got Wetzell. All right, lightning around. Is that Bam Boom Pow? We only have one fight that we haven't covered. Kelly versus whoever he's fighting now. It's his third different opponent.
It's Hamill, right?
Right, Hamill. Yep.
And so here's, do you have the line on that for me while we're at it?
Yes, I do.
Because so first of all, I was forced into doing this lightning round because we did 2 on the last show that I actually had a good feeling about. And then he was like, we only didn't cover 1 fight. And so I feel like we've got to cover this one. And I like Daria Kelly to win this fight.
Minus 310.
I don't like that. That's the thing I don't like, because Hamill's record sucks. And he's the 9th person scheduled to fight Daria Kelly here. And that means short notice. That means he's got a lot of losses and stuff. But like, if you look at his strength of schedule, he has fought some like really good dudes, and he's beaten some pretty good dudes too. Like he beat Killis Moda in Bellator. Like Hamill is tough. And so like for me, I'm gonna pick Daria Kelly because I think they're trying to set him up with a win, and the short notice aspect of this is tough for Hamill. But like, don't waste space in your parlay and wind up blowing it up on this one. So give me Kelly, but play him cautiously or wait till it comes down.
All right, now you've got every pick for PFL. So no complaining, you people. If you do have complaints, though, you can come in the Discord and complain all you want. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. We are on YouTube, obviously. You may be watching us right now. Make sure you subscribe to the MMA Gambling Podcast. You can reach out to us on Twitter at SGPN MMA. He's at Gumby Vreeland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer there and on Instagram. Check out my Substack, moneymma.substack.com. Have the payouts from this past weekend's UFC in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah, because that's a payout state still.
Yeah. One of the rare states that still post who gets paid what in the UFC. So check that out. And, of course, you can enter my free UFC Pick'em contest for this coming weekend. And, of course, Gumby's got another podcast, Top Turtle MMA. Tell the people who is on it this week.
Yeah, we're talking to a pair of guys who are going to be on Contender Series, Alec Lorenz as well as Elijah Ellison.
All right, so check that out. And, of course, sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. We'll be back tomorrow, UFC Baku. Yeah, Baku is a city in a place called Azerbaijan. Gumby's going to bid you farewell till then.
All right, I'm Dana Gumby Vreeland. He's White Kong, Jeff Fox, and we will see you tomorrow.